Welcome back to KHR Press. I'm Eddie Law. Joining us today is a lightweight set to face, Dey McIntosh. Sounds like a computer because it's spelled the same, almost. This Friday night in Salamanca, New York at LFA 211. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Carrier. Kevin, how's it going?
Good. How about you?
Good, man. Appreciate you taking the time. I know you're about to start cutting weight, right?
Yeah, I generally diet down pretty well. I got a few pounds to cut by the morning. Just touched down in the hotel, got everything all set up. Gonna probably break a sweat tonight, and then should wake up right on weight.
Oh, so it's pretty simple for you then.
Yeah. I got a good method down pat.
Sweet, dude. So I couldn't find a legit spot. Are you from Rochester or Phoenix, New York?
I'm from Rochester. It says both. I'm born and raised in Rochester, and then I started training out in Syracuse, and then the past year or two, because once I had kids, we ended up moving back out to Rochester. But due to starting it and having such a long time period, I still claim both.
Oh, there you go, man. All right, yeah. So Rochester, New York, it's 2.5 hours, I want to say, right?
Yeah. Yep.
There you go. All right, man. What was it like growing up there? I mean,
it wasn't the best, wasn't the worst. As a lot of kids, especially in this area, I wanted to get the hell out of here. And as soon as I got the opportunity after high school, I did that. Never really saw myself coming back until I had family and met my wife, who's also from the area. And, like we talked about off air, having kids changes everything. It changes your perspective, and it makes you really realize how important your roots are. And coming back here, it almost felt completely right to raise our children here.
There you go. I mean, did you start MMA or did you start training martial arts in Rochester?
I kind of messed around with stuff as a kid. I went to a couple boxing gyms, dropped in at a couple jiu-jitsu spots, but I never really actively trained until I moved out to Syracuse. And when I was out there, I was fresh out of high school and didn't really know what was going to come of life. I just kind of needed something to hunker me down. And, I always loved fighting and stuff like that. My grandfather was a pro boxer, and, I decided to kind of try it out. And I had a lot of success my first day in the gym, and I fell in love with it. I decided to dedicate my life to it. I started competing shortly thereafter.
But, there you go. So 2017, you make your debut in Bellator.
Yeah.
What was that like? Because just first fight, Bellator.
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie. So I had a good amount of fights as an amateur. Rushed right into competing as an amateur, and I was constantly fighting. Took a year break, and then I went back to constantly competing. And then lost my last amateur fight, had a kickboxing fight, and I just felt like there were things that I really wanted to work. And then so I was just kind of hunkered down in the gym. I was like, I'm going to train for maybe another amateur fight, but then I had buddies who had started training, because a lot of the time I was training by myself. I had teammates and stuff, but they were more general public people. Yeah. But I had this influx of guys come in who had crazy amount of success quickly in their amateur career. And I was like, what is happening? And we ended up all living together, and these guys ended up my one buddy ended up going pro way quicker than I did, and he got an opportunity in Bellator, so our gym got that connection. And I was like, they got offered a fight on short notice for a 55er, and at first I was a little bit of a mental case back then. I was like, no, I'm good. It was against some Russian dude off the bat, and my coach Gene Mills called me, and he's like, "Have you got to take it?" He's like, "You got to take it." That's my wrestling coach. And he talked me into it, and I just did it, and I'm very glad I did. To be honest, it felt like I was right at home when I took that step. It felt like where I needed to be. Didn't really feel as overwhelming as I anticipated, to be honest.
That's good, though, because a lot of guys will do the amateur fights, and then they jump into pro, and it's just huge. The lights are everywhere.
Those lights are blinding for a lot of people. The heat under those lights they can melt you. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%. We've seen it in other people's professional debuts and stuff like that, where they're just like they kind of get hit with the lights and just like, oh, what am I supposed to? It's almost like they forget everything they trained.
100%, 100%. Almost like
Yeah.
that deer in headlights type situation.
Right. So you had kind of a big gap, right? 2017 didn't fight again to 24. What happened?
Yeah, so long story, but so in that Bellator fight, I ended up breaking both hands, and the athletic commission suspended me. But I was like, dang, you know, I had a really good performance. I was like, I'm finally getting paid to go compete. I was like, I need to still compete now. You know, after having that nervous energy about not wanting to do it, now I was like, I gotta go all in. I gotta do it as much as possible. So I went and I took a grappling match, and I won that because I was suspended. So I took that, but I won that. But in the process, I tore my ACL.
Oh, dude.
But they said it was a potential tear. The first look I had at it's a potential tear. They said a couple months of PT, 6 months go by, and it's not getting any better. And one of my coaches was like, you need to go get a second look. I did, and they're like, you have no ACL whatsoever. So, you know, I ended up just biting the bullet, getting the ACL surgery. About a year of recovery, started getting ready to take a fight. First opponent pulled out, and then I got another fight lined up. This was March 2020, and the world shuts down for COVID, like 3 weeks out from the fight. You know, so at that time, MMA is booming. But like I'm in upstate New York, a lot, like it's a pretty, you know, the everything was kind of shut down over here. So my wife and I, we decided to try out Florida. And, you know, when we were out there, we found out we were pregnant. So we ended up coming right back to New York. And then my son needed surgery. So MMA kind of took a back seat. I kept training all the while, but not like a competitor. But I kept, you know, just sharpening the blade. And then we ended up having a second son. So it definitely took the back seat. And then, you know, when we were back in Rochester, I started kind of dabbling with training with a couple of my buddies over at Synthesis, and they were all actively competing. My buddy John Piersma, he had his amateur debut right after my pro debut. Yeah. And in that time frame, he had like 10 amateur fights and 10 pro fights. And he's like, I was like, dang, dude, like everything's just passing me by. And he's like, dude, you need to get back to competing. Like you're good. Like you got to go do this. And it really relit the fire. And, you know, I got an opportunity early 24. And, you know, since then, I just kind of haven't looked back.
There you go, man. So so life happened. Like clearly, all kinds of life happened, man.
Exactly.
Crazy.
And back in the day, I would have never understood that. You know, when I was, you know, I didn't really look at anything outside of fighting. And then my girl changed my life. You know, she completely changed my whole perspective on everything. And then having kids, more of the same. You realize that there's more to life than just this. So.
Yeah, so we got a similar story then, man. My wife changed everything about my mindset in that area too. It was like, oh, okay, there's more important things than just putting hands on faces. All right, got
100%. And it makes the fighting thing easier too.
Oh yeah,
100%. Yeah.
All right, man. Last time out, tough loss to Kyle Pufall. Third round, he hit you with 2 nasty elbows. I think that's the part I burst out laughing, dude, because he hit you. It was like boom, boom. You back up. You're like, so it was the funniest. It was like one of the funniest moments in the middle of a firefight. And it was a bloody fight too. Do you enjoy those kind of scraps?
To be honest, no. I don't really, you know, I'd say my biggest base is I have a dog in me, but like I don't really want to show that until not trying to like say anything about this promotion or any other promotions, but until the purse matches it, like I'm not really trying to go through that. But you know, if I have to, I can. You know, not to take anything away from Kyle. I went into that fight a little impaired, you know. And, you know, I kind of had to rely on that a little bit. But, yeah, you know, it's funny because as an amateur, you always worry about, like, dang, I don't know what an elbow is going to feel like. And even up until then, I never really felt an elbow. And I felt that I was like, it's nothing.
Yeah.
That was nothing.
It was so funny. You're just like, huh, whatever. Like, dude.
I got a big head, so I could take a shot if I need to.
Oh, 100%. Did you, when they read the decision, the commentary team was shocked. They were just like, whoa, hey, did you think you did enough to win?
I thought it was, a bit of a toss-up. I know the first round, especially if you look at it on paper, or like if you just look from an outside point of view in live time, I'm backing up a lot, but like I wasn't getting hit very much. But so that first round definitely could go either way. Due to aggression, he could have won it. Second round was definitely all me.
Oh yeah.
Third round, I was aggressive the whole time, but that last like 30 seconds really costed me. Like I said, went in with an injury, but I know he did too. So like, not taking away nothing from him, but I just wasn't able to execute the game plan the way I wanted to. I was looking for a big takedown. I was almost like not panic shooting for it, but I was like, one good takedown can kind of seal this out. And he capitalized. It's a game of inches in there, and he capitalized on it. He iced out strong, So congrats to him. He's a great kid, but yeah.
There you go, man. So all roads point LFA 211. Dey McIntosh in front of you. How you feeling, physically and mentally coming into this one?
Much better. I feel good. I feel ready to go. I feel like Dey's a very dangerous opponent. He's well-rounded, but I think he makes some critical errors. I think, I think he's a young kid. I don't think he's really ironed them out, and they're a little hardwired. I think I can kind of draw some of those things out of him and capitalize on them. But, very dangerous fight. And looking forward again after it.
There you go, man. So you're pretty happy with the matchup then, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, fighters always want to finish their fight, but so do you feel any pressure? Or do you put pressure on yourself to coming off that loss, right, to Kyle? Do you feel like some pressure to put a stamp on this one, or at least keep the judges out, or at least be dominant to the point where you're undeniable?
There's always pressure, especially having kids. There's always pressure to get out unscathed. You know what I mean? You want to come back home in one piece, but I'm also at an age where it's like, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it, and I got to do it with a exclamation point. So right now, that is the game plan. I'm looking for excellence, but if need be, I'm ready for a war.
Ready for a war, even though we're hoping we don't have to get into one.
Yeah, really, really hoping I don't have to.
All right. Well, hopefully it's not a war, but if it is, hey, as long as you come out on top, it's all good on that one.
Exactly.
All right, man. You get a win on Friday. Hopefully, a finish, some mic time, and a camera in your face.
Absolutely.
Who or what are you calling for next?
I just want to stay active right now. LFA has been really good to me. Ideally, I stay working with them. Just the biggest opportunity that comes next. I'm kind of sick of being on these prelims, so it'd be nice to get on one of those fight passes. But whatever opportunity comes next, I'm going to seize it.
There you go. Especially once you have a family and everything, it's all about the bigger opportunities, right?
Yep, 100%.
There you go. All right, let's do some quick fire ones, but we'll get you on your way.
Yeah.
All right. Outside of fighting, what is the most important thing for Kevin Carrier?
My family.
There you go. Who's your biggest supporter in your MMA journey so far?
My wife.
There you go, man. That's a good one. All right. Favorite combat sports athlete of all time?
Okay, now that one's tough. It kind of varies, like at different time periods. Overall, might sound sort of cliche, but gosh, Nick Diaz in his prime. I mean, like,
my guy. You speak
that style. I mean, like, I love it.
Is the right shirt? Yeah, it is my right shirt.
Hey, there you go.
Dude, that's my guy. That's my favorite guy.
There's nothing like that. Just that drowning pressure, willing to die in there if he has to, but doesn't really do it like in a very stalling manner. It's just, it was poetry in motion.
That just explained your reaction to the elbows, bro. That did it for me. I got it. We're good. What's your favorite activity outside of training and fighting?
Gosh, man, I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but it's playing with my boys.
There you go, dude. That's the best thing, right? It's probably coming home from training, tired, beat up, exhausted. They don't care.
No, they don't. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes it's a little, it gets to you, but for the most part, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I compare it to fighting, parenthood. Unless you do it, you don't understand it.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. Sorry, quick. My thing froze up. All right. Fights in New York. Like I said, 2.5 hours out. Are you expecting a large crowd that night?
Oh yeah, I always have a pretty solid support system here in New York. I have people coming from Syracuse. I have people coming from Rochester. I have people coming from Buffalo. I believe I have some people coming from Florida and from Massachusetts as well. So yeah, I'm always expecting a good support system and a good buzz from the crowd when I fight in New York.
There you go. All right, finally, on June 20th, LFA 211 against Dey McIntosh. What can fans expect from Kevin Carrier?
Excitement. I kind of have a very fan-friendly style. I don't really look to stall in there. I'm unorthodox, but I'm technical. I think I'm well-rounded, and expect to finish.
All right, do not miss it, folks. Home game for our guy against Dey McIntosh, LFA 211 from Seneca Allegheny Resort and Casino in Salamanca, New York. Tickets available through Ticketmaster, broadcasting live on YouTube and UFC Fight Pass. Ladies and gentlemen, Kevin Carrier, appreciate your time, man.
Appreciate you, brother.